What up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm coming to you tonight with a review for Love and Hip Hop New York. This is going to be season number 9. This is episode 6, and it's titled Own Your Truth. So, without further ado, we're going to get started with the video. Alright, so the episode, it opens up. We see somebody getting a tattoo. I'm like, oh, we in a tattoo shop. Nah, nigga, we are not in a tattoo shop. We are in Jewel's condo, and this is like his homie Ray Ray doing a tattoo on him, and it's a bootleg ass tattoo of a crown. So I looked at that shit. I'm like, first of all, that crown was crooked as fuck. I'm like, okay, if you say so. So then we see Kimbella. Kimbella comes into the house, and she sits down with Jewels, and she's talking to Jewels, and Kimbella apologizes to Jewels for bringing up the whole drug situation. And, she was like, maybe that wasn't the right time to bring it up. I guess if she's, listening to what Juju told her. So then Jewels apologizes to Kimbella. And, he says they basically at this point have to figure out a way to tell the kid what they're going to tell the kids and how they're going to tell the kids. And then Kimbella lets Jewels know that, so one of the kids at the school, at little Jewels' school, has already told Jewels, little Jewels, what's going on with big Jewels. Jewels talk like Mike Tyson, or Sylvester the Cat, but mostly Mike Tyson with the lisp. Like, it's just like he got a lot of shit stuck in his mouth, and it's just like you need to spit just to get that shit out your mouth. But nasty as fuck, nasty. Okay, so next we see Jewels and Kimbella. Well, we see Kimbella and the kids. So they are celebrating little Jewels' 8th birthday. So Kimbella says that she has a surprise for the kids. And the surprise is Jewels. So Jewels comes there, and they all happy to see him. And he's telling them that he's gonna be moving back home with them. Yay for the kids, but it's only gonna be short-lived, unfortunately. So then we had this scene where Kimbella and Jewels are with the kids, and now they're at the point where they're about to tell the kids that Jewels is going to jail, and he's gonna be gone for a while. So they do tell the kids, and this whole scene right here was really sad to see, because this scene was reminiscent of the scene on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 5, when Scrap De Leon had to tell his son that he was going to jail. And the kids, they didn't take it that well, especially the little boy and the little girl. Neither one of them took it very well. And the little girl's like, well, will we be able to see you? Can we call you? Will God bring you back home to us? And I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is heavy. And, like I said, I feel bad for the kids, but, when these guys and girls are out there doing this kind of stuff in their younger ages, they're not thinking long term that, hey, one day I may have a family, and, this will be a negative impact on my family. But I hope that now Jewels looks and sees that, the things that I do negatively affect my family, especially taking a fucking gun into an airport. Like, you must have been high as fuck to take a gun into an airport. All right, so next we got Old Man Joe in the shoe and Sin. So we see Old Man Joe. I think that was his mama, right? So he was talking to her about she asked him, what's the holdup between you and Sin and getting married? And, Joe's whole thing is that, what did he say? It's not a priority for him right now. And the reason why it's not a priority for him is because Sin is acting crazy, and they're fighting over sex. And she's like, so she doesn't want to have sex with you? He says no, she wants to have sex. So you don't want to have sex with her? He says no, it's not that I don't want to have sex with her, it's that I work so much. And I mean, I get Joe's point that he does work a lot, but you got to find a balance between your work life and your home life with your woman and your son. So and then his mama told him, you're not getting what you want out of the relationship, and neither is she. So you both are kind of clashing at this point, because neither one of you are getting what you want from the relationship. And then, she basically tells him over time, I mean, no relationship is perfect, and you have to eventually make some compromises in the relationship. And I'm not saying that sex is going to be a compromise, but he has to meet Sin halfway, and Sin also has to meet him halfway. And then, yeah. And then he also says they need to figure out what they really want to do. And I know Joe loves Sin, and I know Sin loves Joe. and we all know that they are engaged. So this is actually kind of a moot point, to be quite honest with you. So I'm just gonna keep on moving and moving and moving. All right. So then we saw this scene where Sin was in the house. She was with the baby, and you know, she's just saying how she doesn't feel like herself. And I think either Sin is either depressed or she has postpartum depression. And I don't get how Joe is not noticing that, or if he is noticing it, he wants Sin to say something to him. Like, that's what I'm just sitting here thinking. Like, either she's depressed for one, or she just has postpartum depression, and her man is just not even saying anything to her. Like, babe, you okay? You know, do you want to go get out? Like, let's do this, let's do that. You know, try to uplift her. So then we see another scene where Sin, Joe, and the baby were, you know, together. And, you know, Sin thought they were going to have family time with one another. And Joe says, no, that I have to go to work. And Sin's like, no, let's just sit down and have a talk. And she was upset at this point. So he said, you know what, let's just sit down and have a talk. And, you know, she basically tells him that she feels neglected. And he's like, I work 25/8. And I get that he's working to provide for the family. I definitely get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I said before, you have to make a balance between your work life and your home life. Like, you have to make some kind of a balance. And, you know, Joe says that over the last year, Sin has changed. Well, of course she's changed. She had a baby for one. So, of course, her hormones are raging. Like, it's understandable. And then, you know, he talks about, you know, maybe you're depressed or have postpartum depression. And, you know, she basically says, yes, I am depressed. And that should have been a point where Joe, you said, you know what, I'm not even going to, you know, I'm just going to deal with this right now. And let's just say forget work for right now. But Joe ended up still leaving him. Like, okay, but your woman just sat there and told you she's depressed. And he also said, you know, he'd be okay if, you know, her depression, with his depression, that if they break up, they break up. I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's what she was saying. I just think she's trying to say, you know, she wants you around a little bit more. But, you know, like I said before, they're engaged. So this is a moot motherfucking point. Okay, so next we got Nyla, and she's meeting up with Rubbin Pennies. So that was an interesting scene to see her meeting up with Rubbin Pennies. So Nyla takes it upon herself to apologize to him. I'm like, okay, we kissing his ass now for what? Like, I was hella confused. You know, she's talking about how with this meeting with him, she's getting more out of this meeting than she has with DJ Cornball. And, you know, she's known Cornball for 10 years. And I'm like, okay, Nyla, like, I don't think we even give a fuck, but whatever. So then Rubbin Pennies tells her, you know, basically she doesn't need to burn bridges because she never knows what DJ Cornball might can do for her. Not a motherfucking thing. So then he says that, you know, when it came down to Sydney Star, when they met at that club, that, you know, Nyla wasn't wrong. Sydney Star was wrong. And I'm like, okay, Rich, now you backpedaling and pussy popping. So then he says, you know what, Nia, I need a favor from you. If you do this favor for me, I will get your music into the right hands. And I'm like, who? Tell us who. Because you couldn't do that for Olivia. You couldn't put Olivia's music in the right hands. You couldn't put Erica Mena's whack ass music in the right hands. You could not put, who else has Rich managed over the years, supposedly? You couldn't put Johnny Blaze's music in the right hands. It's some other people that he's managed that I can't think of right now. But yeah, whatever, Rubbin Pennies. So, you know, basically he wanted Nyla to sit down with Sydney Star. So, you know, Nyla's like, okay, I'll sit down with her. So he says, good, because she's right outside. I'm like, oh, Mona, you played that one very well. You just had Rubbin Pennies come in here, but you left Sydney Star sitting outside and said, Sydney, stay outside until we say cue and action. Don't come in until we say action. And Mona said, action. And in walked Sydney Star. So, you know, Sydney Star apologizes to Nyla for their first encounter with one another. And she basically said that she felt like when she met Nia, that Nia, I guess, was in a sense trying to downplay who she was because, I guess when she meets people and they know who she is, they kind of downplay her being a transgender and whatnot. But Nyla did apologize to her, and they agreed to move forward with one another, which I'm like, okay, cool. All right, so then we see this scene with Jbsayzwhat. He's in the studio, he's making this beat, and he all hype and whatnot, and Rubbing Penny's coming there, and I'm like, Jbsayzwhat, calm your motherfucking ass down. So we find out that they're waiting for Sydney Star to come in, and the beat that Jbsayzwhat has made is for Sydney. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go with Sydney and this whack ass rapping she be doing. So, I took the time to try to learn this song. Bear with me with this because we're going to get this out. So it goes, yo, yo, yo. I'm the transgender queen. I'm just trying to get my ring. These bitches trying to take my place. I'm going to need to get my space. Corny ass niggas always laughing in my face. But behind closed doors, they trying to get a taste. I'm here for a reason, just not for a season. Stay tuned, bitches. This is not just intermission. Which that didn't make any sense. None of it did. Yo, I'm the transgender queen. I'm just trying to get my ring. These bitches trying to take my place. I'm going to get my space. Corny ass niggas always laughing in my face. But behind closed doors, these niggas trying to get a taste. I'm here for a reason, just not for a season. Stay tuned, bitches. This is not just intermission. Hey, I got it. Hopefully I sounded better than Sydney. I doubt I did, but A for effort. But that was Sydney's song. And then we saw Sydney, she met up with Nyla. And she sang the song, she did the song for Nyla, and Nyla, she was like, Sydney said she's just getting started, so I wasn't really expecting much. And then she also tells Sydney that when it comes down to her telling that she's a transgender queen, she doesn't have to say that. Like, you don't have to always mention that you are transgender. We know you transgender. So, I mean, I get it. She's trying to be gimmicky or whatever, but keep it to yourself. So then, she opens up to Nyla a little bit more. She tells Nyla that she's lied in her interviews. When she said she lied in her interviews, I thought she was about to open up and say that she lied about who she fucked. Because I do remember some years ago, she said she fucked Trey Songz. But nope, that's not what she lied about, even though we know she lied about that. She said the thing that she lied about was the fact that she had her surgery. So she tells Nyla that she still has her dick. And, Nyla says, do you want to have the surgery? She said yes. And, she's talking about she lied to men. The men that she wanted didn't want her. And she also said that when it came down to, she lied to men, and when they had sex, well, she didn't tell men about her having a dick when they were having sex. And I'm like, how? You must have the smallest dick and balls known to mankind for a man not to notice your dick and balls just swinging back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, okay, if you say so, Sydney, if you say so. All right, so then we see Mariah Lynn. So Mariah Lynn is having a little play date with her little sister. I think she said her name is Iceland. And she's 2 years old, and then we find out that her mama is, still fighting with the drug addiction, and she's back in jail. I'm like, God damn it. Wait a minute. She said her mama's back in jail. So when did they film this shit? Because if I'm not mistaken, and I remember this distinctly, because the week before episode, that's when, this whole Nicki Minaj bullshit came about. Now, when that shit happened, didn't a barb go up to her mama and say, you Mariah Lynn's mama, and punch the bitch in the face? So I'm just kind of confused when this timeline is at this point, because like I said, the barbs attacked Mariah Lynn's mama. So then we see Jonathan, he's meeting up with Mariah Lynn. So Mariah Lynn's talking about she's gonna go for full custody of her sister. And then, Mariah Lynn tries to start crying. And I'm like, Mariah Lynn, there's not one tear coming out your eye. So then her little sister tries to walk up to her. And she's like, no, mommy's okay. And I'm sitting there looking like, Mona, you ain't shit, bitch. Like, really? You gonna put the little girl to work? Like, Mariah Lynn was not crying. Mariah Lynn wasn't doing shit. But you gonna have this little girl try to walk up to Mariah Lynn to console her. All right, Mona, if you say so. So, then, Jonathan starts talking about his drug thing, how he got into it with Juju, with Kimbella, and then they talk about Anais. So while they talking about Anais, Mariah Lynn just so happens to pull out her phone, and she has a photo of Anais on her phone. I'm like, really, Mona? Again, with the props. Like, really, Mona? You really trying it, bitch. But then they show these pictures of, they show a picture of Anais, which I noticed that earlier in the season when we first saw Anais, that her neck was so skinny, and her body is just like, Anais looks sick. And then they showed a video of her where she said, yes, she is skinny, and oh my God, I just hope Anais gets the help that Anais needs, because like I said, there's just something wrong with Anais. And then Jonathan is talking about how nobody is answering his phones, not even old man Ruben. Which, I mean, shit, would you answer, like, all the shit that happened last season with rubbing pennies? Like, nigga, fuck out of here. All right, so then we had this scene where Jonathan is going to meet with someone that he thinks can help him, with Anais. And who does Jonathan meet up with? Does he meet up with Ruben, Anais' husband? No, he meets up with Rubbin Pennies, the man that she had an affair with last year. And I'm like, of all motherfucking people, you meet up with this motherfucker to talk about Anais. Okay, Mona, you really trying it tonight, girl. You really trying it tonight. So, Jonathan's talking about how he feels Anais is in a dark place. And now he's tried to reach out to her family, but nobody has responded to her. And then Rich wants to let us know that, he and Anais are in a better place. And I'm like, how do you go? How? You had an affair with her last year, and you in a good place with her, but she's still married to her husband. So how you in a good spot with the girl? Like, inquiring minds just really want to know that question. Like, I really do. So then, Rubbin Pennies tells Jonathan that Anais, for the last few months, has been in and out of mental facilities. And, one day he got a phone call from her, and, the nurse told her that the doctor wasn't releasing her because she wasn't taking her meds, and that she was coming up with conspiracy theories and talking about the CIA and whatnot. And, yeah, that shit is just really baffling to me and really kind of weird. So then Rubbin Penny says that the relationship between Jonathan and Anais is toxic, which it is. And, he's telling him how, he asked Anais about reaching out to Jonathan. And she said, fuck Jonathan, because of the stuff that happened. She said he OD'd. And I'm like, do y'all not know what OD means? But whatever. Yeah, he OD'd and he said some stuff to her that was fucked up. He said, yeah, I did. And I just, she needs to accept my apology. But she has to be in a healthy spot to accept that apology, Jonathan. But, again, why are you meeting with Rubbin Pennies of all people? Like, I could have saw it if you met with her husband her husband, number one. Like, her husband, Navarro, anybody but this clown ass motherfucker. Like, Mona, you trying it. All right, then lastly, I'm gonna talk about Alexis. There wasn't really much to talk about with Alexis. She's meeting with Treyway because she's kind of in limbo with her career since this whole Tekashi 6ix9ine stuff. She's released some music on SoundCloud, and Trey says, stop doing that. And, she's talking about she gotta do what she gotta do for her and her daughter. He asked her how is the baby. The baby's good, and how are things with her and Fetty. There is nothing between her and Fetty, but she does want, her baby to know who Fetty is and have him in her life. Whatever. I'm so over Alexis guy, Fetty Wap, and Solo Lucci with this baby drama. So it's finally been revealed that Solo Lucci is not the baby's father, but has it been revealed that, comments, we all know it's Fetty's baby. Who gives a fuck? So that was Love and Hip Hop. Wasn't really much. like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. I really wish Mona would just do away with New York and just, you know, like, yeah, I really wish she would do away with New York. Oh, speaking of, so I did mention this last week in my Love and Hip Hop Miami review. So I did find online where Mona was talking about, you know, Love and Hip Hop Miami. So they as of November 30th of 2018, they had started casting for Love and Hip Hop New Orleans and Love and Hip Hop Houston. So we should be seeing those two soon enough. So like I said last week, I think I know what Mona's gonna do. Mona is about to capitalize with Love and Hip Hop. So I think what it's gonna be is Monday nights we will have in a winter month, in the fall we'll have Love and Hip Hop New York. Unfortunately, in the spring it'll be Atlanta, and then in the summer it'll be Hollywood, and then vice versa. On Wednesday nights in the fall winter it'll be Miami, and then in the summer we'll either get Houston or New Orleans, and in the summer one of those two will either get Houston or New Orleans. But like I said, we got two new cities coming soon, Houston and New Orleans more than likely. So I will see you guys later on. I am going to watch that show, Cartel Crew. If I feel like reviewing it, you guys will see a video, just like I said last week about Grownish. So I am not going to review Grownish because I actually really enjoy watching that show, and I do not want to sit and take any notes of the show. So there won't be any videos from Grownish.